Welcome to my presentation. This is my contribution to your survival of the holiday feast. And the subtitle I put on it, to eat or not to eat. Is that the question? Oh yes, it is the question. My name is Martin Patella. I've been working as a health coach at Life Enthusiast Co-op and at Remarkable Health. I started my career in the health field as a clinical hypnotherapist, but I also worked as a systems analyst. And currently I'm also a trainer and a lecturer and a podcaster, and you can find all of this on our life-enthusiast.com website. You will see the reference at the end of the slideshow. So here's the shot. This is me at my 58th year, telling you that health is possible. And how do we do that? The classic 4-quadrant presentation that Stephen Covey has taught me is if you're in the green quadrant, he calls it the quadrant 2, you're doing the stuff that's not urgent, and it focuses on prevention. The stuff that's urgent, when you're in a crisis, in the yellow box, that's when you're heading into an emergency room. That's when you're no longer able to negotiate. You're just told what you're going to do, and you're not able to negotiate the price either. You're at the mercy of the medical system. You're not controlling a thing. So is your gut ready for the feast? What do you think of that little joke? Is the end near? Well, the point is this. When you're eating a large meal, any meal really, you need to have a few things to be able to digest it. You need to have minerals on board. You need to have things like chloride in your stomach, so hydrochloric acid is produced. You need to have sodium in your pancreas, so the sodium bicarbonate is produced. You need to have enough enzymes on board, both in your pancreas and your liver, because I doubt they'll be coming with the cooked food. And you need to have sufficient microbes in your small and large intestines, because they are very important. And yes, you need to have water. And at Life Enthusiast, we teach you how to structure your water properly if you don't know what that means. To eliminate the wastes. What do we need there? It's going to be very similar. You need enough fiber so that you can move the mass of material along, and you need to again have sufficient microbes that are going to process all of that material that's in your tube. You know, the tube that's actually on the inside, but between your mouth and your anus, that actually represents the outside world. And it's the non-sterile part of your digestive system or of your body. Because once the food passes from the inner tube into the rest of your body, it will have become sterilized in its passage through the villi. We can talk about that. And of course, plenty of water. If you don't have enough water, you will dehydrate the stool and you will be constipated, which is quite common. The sterile gut syndrome is an effect that's caused by our lifestyle. I'll get to how and why, but here's what it looks like. It's the constipation, the diarrhea, the bloating, the flatulence, and finally, we call it the Montezuma's revenge, but it really happens mainly when you encounter microbes that your digestive system is not ready for. It's just common that you encounter it on your travels, but it also happens at home. Now, what is the cause of this sterile gut syndrome? The most common issue is things that kill off the healthy microbes that are supposed to be living in your digestive system. When you take antibiotics, they kill things indiscriminately. They wipe out the pathogens, and thank God for that, but they also wipe out the good boys. It's very much like abandoning your garden. If you stop seeding it, it will overgrow with weeds. The other very common cause of this is chlorinated water. Think of it. Why do we put chlorine in water? To kill microbes. The bad one, of course. But when you drink chlorinated, unfiltered water, what do? You're killing the microbes on the inside. This time you're killing the good guys. Pharmaceutical drugs have a similar effect, and wrong food, of course, that contributes as well. So here's why we are concerned about that. When food starts being prepared in an industrial way, in a large scale, we need to start worrying about the contamination that can come our way. Yes, the food is cheaper than it's ever been because of the faster processing and larger scale of production. But here's what happens. The food is now increasingly vulnerable to contamination. Did you hear about the recent recall of 36 million pounds of ground turkey by Cargill? That must have hurt. That was because of salmonella. And they were unable to tell the small batch from which it would have come, so they had to recall this gigantic 36 million pounds. That's like 2 million turkeys, right? Listeria, typically found in pork or in sausages, ham and such. It killed 20 people in Canada a few years ago just because there had some badly cleaned equipment, and listeria got growing in between the slicing parts of the equipment, and it was in sandwich meats, and weaker people don't survive the infection. E. coli, that's another one. Again, we find that in the digestive system of cattle. So this typically happens in hamburger, and when you have ground beef, the surface of the meat is mixed all the way to within, and that's why you're concerned about cooking your hamburger completely rather than leaving it raw or rare in the middle, because the red parts are not um, the red parts are not killed. They're not cooked enough for the bacteria to die. So of course, here we go. We're heading for the harvest celebrations. And yes, we celebrate by offering lots of food and lots to drink, and that delivers calories. So why are we concerned here? Well, with calories, it's this. You can either burn it or store it. When you're burning it, that means that you're creating metabolic fires. It causes inflammation in the body. And if you're storing it, then you're creating obesity. And of course, the other contributing factors of the typical family gatherings, there will be stress. Yes, the digestive, but also emotional and also physical. Who knows if you're going to get into staying up too late, or perhaps sitting at a card game too long, or perhaps, well, who knows? I'm not going to speculate. It's the combination of factors that give us the total stress load. And that's what is the issue. When your total stress load exceeds the tolerance, you end up in immune system trouble. What's that look like in the digestive system? You will experience bloating, constipation, diarrhea. Those are just immediate, and those are easily seen. The more protracted and less obvious, and things that you could just sweep aside, is cankers. These are little warts that appear on your gums on the inside, on your cheeks on the inside. A white coated tongue is actually a sign of digestive distress. So if you stick your tongue out at yourself in the morning, or anytime really, and you see that it's got a thick white coating on it, that's a sign of trouble. And of course, this digestive distress will get you immune trouble. You will be very susceptible to the flu and to the tonsillitis, and you will be feeling tired a lot. If this becomes a long-term problem, of course, and I don't want to scare anybody into that, but just consider and contemplate that if you do this festive style eating day in, day out, year after year, you end up in some significant and complex problems. When you're not eating right for what you should be doing, you end up with all these inflammatory diseases like arthritis, diabetes, heart disease, obesity. They're all related. Um, and some of them are more exotic, like Sjogren and Hashimoto. They are, again, dysfunctions of specific places and organs that doctors have identified and named. But the total cause, is that you have overloaded your immune system for one or many reasons. When doctors don't really know what to do with things, when they don't know how to cure something with a pill or surgery, they give it a name like a syndrome, like fibromyalgia syndrome or autism syndrome or attention deficit syndrome. These syndromes, are again caused by, or at least associated with, inflammation in the body. And eating unwisely is one of the main contributors to this issue. So what do we know? The contributing factors to all of this: inflammatory disease, toxicity. Clean up your life as much as you can. It doesn't really matter so much what you do one day a year, but it sure does matter what you do the other 365 or 64, depending. Our soils are in terrible shape. The industrial agriculture has really done a number on it. There are deficiencies of minerals, and of course cooking is causing enzyme deficiencies, which are causing your malnutrition. The stagnation, turning what used to be a free-flowing stream into a putrefying swamp, is essentially lack of movement, lack of exercise, not drinking a good water, suffering from dehydration, and of course the disruption of the vibrational sort. Whether it's lack of grounding, we are supposed to be in contact with the planet daily, barefoot, bare hand, or if it's the disruption from the EMF, electromagnetic frequencies, which are stressing your body, or if it's emotional stress from toxic relationships. And finally, the topic for today, the excessive calories. When you are having to deal with excessive calories, you are causing metabolic stress. No doubt about it. Ha! Sure looks tempting, doesn't it? It depends on your biological individuality whether you're needing to eat a diet that's more rich in proteins and fats, or more slanted toward the vegetarian, fruitarian, more on the carb side rather than on the protein and fat side. This is an important distinction, and most people ignore it. It's perfectly fine for one person to eat mostly a turkey with some salad, and for the other person to have very little of the turkey and a whole bunch of the stuffing or potatoes or something like that. If you do end up eating against your type, and it's very common in this country, you will cause yourself all manner of problems. When you disrupt your pH balance, the biggest consequence of that are cancers, or tiredness, fatigue, inflammation. If you disrupt your glycation, that's how to deal with glucose. The biggest trouble of that sort would be diabetes, obesity, related illnesses. Or you disrupt your methylation. That's mainly related to your brain, depression, moods, but also heart disease and similar, and inflammation, that will have problems like arthritis and related. But all of this will result in accelerated aging, because the accelerated oxidative stress will overwhelm your body, your ability to deal with the oxidants, for which you don't have adequate antioxidants, and that's how we age. So what do the excess calories do? Just remember this. It's totally okay to not eat too much. Take a doggy bag with you, or whatever you call that bag with which you bring yourself some leftovers that you can eat the next day. You have only two ways to deal with the food: burn it or store it. When you burn it, you're creating oxidative stress. And oxidative stress means aging. And if you don't have enough antioxidants, you're getting inflammation. And if you have inflammation, you're getting these multiple illnesses, all ending with itis, otis, and who knows what else illness that you could be getting into. So please look for high nutrient density, low calorie density. Those are foods that will support you well. And if you can't burn it, you'll end up storing it as fat. That's what your insulin will do for you. Insulin's main job isn't to remove sugar from your blood. Its main job is to create storehouse of energy for future use. So here's what I would do in the long term, just in case you want a recap. Find your metabolic type and switch to your biological identity diet, and we can help you with that. Look us up. The phone number and the website is at the end. Identify your toxic load, and that's the second most important thing you can do for your health, and follow a detox protocol. And then figure out the deficiencies, supplement for that, and remember to exercise. That is really important. What I want to talk to you about is the really most important first thing, the beginning of it all. That's really the topic of today's presentation, is that you can restore your intestinal terrain to the health it should be and to the health it would be if you were still living on a farm where you would be eating organic food. You would have a healthy colon environment. You would have your mucosal villi in the small intestine properly functioning. You will or would have the high absorption of nutrients, and you would have perfectly good regulation of your vitamin metabolism, and your cellular repair would be functioning beautifully. When you notice that you're not healing very quickly from a scratch or a mosquito bite or something like that, a surface wound, that's a sign that your body is under stress, that your immune system is so busy that it doesn't have the time to repair you. So when we put ourselves back together, when we rebuild the terrain in the small intestine and the large intestine with the correct microbes, you actually have restored homeostasis. You're quenching free radicals in the gut. And how do you do that? With SBOs, soil-based organisms. It's an amazing thing. When I mentioned the organic farm, on the farm, you used to pull a carrot out of the ground and wipe it on your pants or your shirt and start munching. Maybe you washed it in a creek or under a tap, but more likely not. That surface of that carrot contained all the microbes that your gut desperately needs. When you buy a carrot today, what does it look like? It's beautiful shiny package, shiny clean, washed in chlorinated water, sterile. There's nothing on it that would possibly help you restore the digestive system. So SBOs, soil-based organisms, they stimulate the alpha interferon production. That means that the stuff that very sick people seek to try and save themselves from a certain demise, you would have it richly present in your digestive system just by having restored the microbial terrain with the soil-based organisms. Here's an important point: the unprogrammed antibodies. That means that Your immune system is ready for whatever comes its way. Remember that Montezuma's revenge or the food poisoning that's heading your way? Is your gut ready to deal with the salmonella? If there is a rich terrain filled with the powerful collaborating soil-based organisms, they're ready for it. And they are ready for it with unprogrammed antibodies. That means that you don't have to be prepared for everything. You're just so well trained that whatever comes your way is successfully treated. The mucosal villi, that's an important bit. When they are short and when they are not holding together, you end up with leaky gut, with underdigested proteins getting inside your bloodstream. And that's the primary source of allergies and other inflammatory conditions in the body. And here's another one. Remember hearing how you could be iron deficient? You're suffering from not enough hemoglobin, stuff like that. Well, it's actually extracted and created in your gut by the soil-based organisms. So here's the bottom line. When you have rebuilt a good terrain in your digestive system, you have increased nutrient absorption, you have improved waste elimination, and you have at the same time strengthened your immunity. So what you do, you have to get the right probiotics. Would you say that you are in trouble? I think so. We all are. So it's just a case of how much trouble. Biotics comes in this pretty little bottle. It's been around for 30, probably 35 now, years. And it's has been tested extensively and it's been on the market for the longest time. It is truly the most powerful mix of prebiotic and probiotic soil-based organisms. It's a blend. It's a team. It's not just like one player. If you think of the situation in your gut as if it were a football game, if you buy the simple probiotics, just the yogurt cultures, they are very much like having a quarterback and maybe one receiver on the whole field. Here, you're getting the team. The linebackers, the receivers, the offensive team. Not just that, you're also getting with it the coaches and the guys who cut the grass and the guys who also wash the laundry. The Biotics is available in multiple versions, in capsules and also in a chewable. And the chewable is available in two sizes, children's and adults. And this is a good thing. When you put the soil-based organisms in your mouth and you chew on them, they start populating right in your mouth. And that's a good thing. You won't believe how sweet your breath will smell when the good bacteria have eaten away all of the bad ones. It coats your throat. It prevents you getting a strep throat and situations like that. So here's the promotion that we are having for you. You can buy one with free shipping for the price of $49, or if you buy 4, you receive the 5th bottle free, also free shipping. All you have to do is when you go to the checkout, redeem the coupon SBOBB, soil-based organisms, biotics. You will find it at the www.life-enthusiast.com under Life Sciences. You can call us for this at 1-866-543-3388. And if you'd like to get more information, we have for you a fantastic, well-researched medical letter. It was published in the Townsend Letter, a very reputable medical magazine. So enter your name and your email address, and we'll send you this letter, and we'll follow it up with 10 messages that will explain to you what's going on in your digestive system and how you can improve and restore the proper health. of the entire immune system through proper bowel management with soil-based organisms. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and we're looking to hearing from you.